Hey guys, so I just want to talk about what happened on Saturday in this video because there are so many questions that need to be answered about it, and I think it's important that you all know like my take on this because you all have your opinions of what happened, but as an owner I think it's important that I speak out. For those of you that don't know, Saturday's tournament started off pretty much just like any other tournament. It was really amazing, it was really fun. But it ended up in pretty much the worst way we've ever ended a tournament, ever in Artisium history. And this was as a result of multiple things at once, not just one. And I want to go over exactly what happened. As always, remember to like and subscribe. Even if you don't like the video, I think you should still subscribe because it's an amazing channel, just saying. Alright, the first thing I want to talk about is that people were not actually informed about what Artisium is. What I mean by that is that some new players that only just joined Artisium thought that Artisium was going to be a lot different than it actually was. I've heard from, well, only really one person, but I'm pretty sure there was more. I've heard from one person that they thought Artisium was going to be a competitive fours tournament. And if you do play Artisium, you will know that that's really not what it is. So not having played another round, they automatically saw that this round was fours, so they thought the whole tournament was a fours competitive tournament, like pretty much most other fours competitive tournaments out there. In my opinion, Artisium is more about the fun of playing, not the competitiveness of playing. Round 4 is the last round after 3 solo rounds, and that's something that new players may not realise if they join just for round 4. It's not just all fours competitive tournament. You played 3 solo rounds before that, and this is just the final round where you team up for fun, not for competitive purposes. And that's exactly also why balanced teams are required for this round. Some people were convinced that it's best team wins, that you get together with your friends, create a team, and then play to win, whereas Artisium needs pretty much balanced points in round 4 for it to be fair, which I know it doesn't happen, but that's why I create the teams with Grey in the first place. If you are just new to Artisium and you only just joined, I recommend watching my old videos about Artisium, asking other players in the server about their experience, and not just go into it thinking it's a competitive tournament, because it's not. The second thing that happened is that a lot of players didn't actually show up to the tournament, which led to people calling unfair teams in the actual tournament. And first, let me just say that I personally didn't think that the teams were unfair, or not as unfair as people were making it out to be. The planned out teams in the Discord server, which I will show on the screen right now, as you can see, are quite balanced. Even if the head counts were different and one team has clearly more players than the other 3 teams, me and Gray made it so the teams are fair, and we planned this out together. We messed people around into different teams to make sure that they are fair, and we both agreed that they were fair the way we planned them out. The problem was that a lot of players did not show up, and it led to imbalance. Ew, I said that. The actual problem was that a lot of players didn't show up, and that's what led to the imbalance of teams. I even said in my last Artisium video, which I will put an annotation up on the screen right now if you want to check for yourself, I said it myself that team leaders are supposed to check if their players and teammates won't be able to come to the tournament, and that did not happen as far as I'm aware. I made sure I did that as I was a team leader, but I gave an instruction for team leaders to check that and they didn't do it, and as well as that, players should just do this naturally anyway. If you know you're not going to show up to a tournament, you should let me know about that, and I made that very clear in my last video as well. I also just want to add that red team, who actually reported the most about unfair teams since they were the only 2-player team left at the end of the tournament, they actually came second by not far from yellow team, which just proves that yes, 4 players are obviously going to beat 2 players, but look how close they were, and they were a 2-man team, so you can't say that head count is all that makes teams unfair. Obviously it helps, but red team quite clearly proved that you can balance teams in terms of tiers rather than head count. So the third thing I want to talk about is that people don't know the rules, and they go into the tournament not knowing the rules, not reading updated rules, just not reading the rules just altogether. And this was very clear to me when we were playing Bed Wars and people didn't know how to double team. People didn't know that force teams can double team together. People didn't know you can cross team with your teammates, and just generally didn't know stuff like that. Although I was actually kind of impressed that people knew all the banned items and didn't use them, so well done guys. Players can't just join a tournament with no experience and not read the rules. And when you join the Discord server, you even get a pop-up on your screen saying to read the rules, so there's no excuse for that. As well as there's a lot of players that don't understand the double rush team, and as well as there's a lot of players that don't understand the double rush rule, and that's understandable, to be honest. It's quite confusing. It's really hard to explain it in terms of words on text. Yeah, me and the player council have gone into that rule. We changed up the wording a bit, so hopefully it's a bit more elaborated now. Last thing, yellow team was not unbalanced. We just practiced, and I went through this so many times in my last video, how important it is to practice, and I went into what makes a good force team and how you can prepare for that, and we used everything in my video to do that, and that's why we were successful. It wasn't just the fact that we had 4 players, because we only had 1 tier 1 player, whereas everyone else had 2 really good tier 1 players. In terms of stats, we had pretty much the worst team, even though we had the most players. And the reason why we won is not because we had the most players, it's because we practiced, we set tactics up, we had everything written out, we had everything planned out, we practiced every single game several times beforehand, and the most important thing is that we all became close friends, and that's pretty much the most important thing within the team. So in conclusion, I just want to say that I'm honestly disappointed with people's reaction to this tournament, because we've had so many tournaments before, and specifically round 4s, we've had 2 of them before. We had one in April and May. It wasn't more unfair than different ones. We've had much more unfair teams before in the past. There is a suggestion chat in the server where you can suggest changes, suggest team changes if you want. You can suggest anything you want, and no one used that before the tournament. As well as just players need to get back to remembering what Artisium is actually about, because I think since we took this little break and in August we had this competitive force tournament, I think people forgot exactly what Artisium was. The point of Artisium is to enjoy playing, enjoy making friends with different people, merge in different communities, and enjoy having fun with everyone. And then winning just comes as a bonus. That being said, I am working on fixing a lot of these issues, even though I personally don't think there were as many issues as people said. In my opinion, if multiple players are unhappy, then clearly something's going wrong. So I'm setting up this new group of people called Player Council, and the way this is going to work is basically like the government, I guess. We're going to have a group of people, and we're going to pitch an idea, and then we're going to talk about that idea. We're going to have discussions, try and look at it from both sides. Then after we all think that we've said everything we had to say, I'm going to write out exactly the main points that we made for and against the idea, so we look at it from both sides, and then we'll suggest a way to fix something. Then we all vote on it, and then the rule either goes through or doesn't. And remember, if you want to sign up for this player council, make sure to join the Discord server, which is linked down below in the description, and then check out a channel called Official Documents, and it will be in there. But yeah, as always, remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Comment down below if you have anything else that you want me to discuss, or tell me on Discord. I apologize for Saturday. I know people were annoyed and didn't really enjoy it as much as normally, but let's hope for a good party. We're not sure about the dates, but the party is going to happen, and I'll make sure as many people can be there as possible. Bye guys.